everybody. This is Racquel Palmese. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. And this is something very new for me today. Oh, I'm live now.
You were before.
Hello, everybody. This is Racquel Palmese, and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I'm having a giggle contest with this wonderful woman trying something very new for Wisdom Wednesday today. This is Marina Kutab, also known as the Eco Goddess. And we are going to attempt to address something very big, very wonderful, very serious. There's bells going off. I guess somebody up there agrees with us. And that is the spirituality of environmentalism, or even saying it better, spirit and the earth. So this is a big subject. It's been talked about. There's many books written about this. But of course, we are entering a new phase of human consciousness. We are embarking to think in new ways, feel in new ways. We're wanting to come out of the constructions and silos that we've been in and actually recreate and rethink ways of being and our relationships to all things of the earth, of spirit, of knowing, of the mind, of energy. So I'll take my glasses off and let's go, everybody, and see what wants to come in for us about spirit and the earth. And I'll just get started. So let's close our eyes. Let's take some breaths. Let's be very present for this moment as we breathe deeply into our body. Let's feel our bodies. Let's really take a pause. If you're driving, pull over, please. If you're listening to this as you're doing something else, please stop. Please take a moment, a pause in your day for real. And drop in. Feel your body with you as you breathe out. Feel yourself dropping in. That breath just pulling you down. And the reason that we want to focus so much on dropping into the body right now is because these bodies, they are of the earth. These bodies are of the earth. Think about it. We are flesh and blood and bone. We are evolved. These bodies evolved over millions of years to serve us. And we will do anything we can to keep these bodies healthy. We try to have good diets. We try to have a good weight. We want to have a good quality life in the physical. We don't want to be sick. We try to take care of ourselves. But in some way, this theme of how self-centered we've been over the last couple of generations is showing up here too. We think about our own health, and yet how much do we think really, besides just feeling guilty about it, do we think about the health of the planet itself? That planet that spawned us, that grows our food for us, that gives us so much beauty. How much do we give back to this earth? We take an awful lot. And mostly what we give back is a lot of guilt. We give back, oh, I feel so bad. Oh my God, we're ruining the earth. And there's 30 fires going on in California right now. as the land heats up 130 degrees in Death Valley broke a record. Records are shattering everywhere with heat. The permafrost is melting. We know what climate change is beginning to do. And indeed, there's a really good chance we might not survive it. As oceans rise, groundwater, the ocean water, seeps in under the ground, and the groundwater rises and begins to flood and begins to come up as this kind of brackish water in places that's just never happened before. There's nothing we can do about that. We can build seawalls to keep the tide from coming in, but we can't do anything about water flowing in from underground and pushing its way up, way inland. All we'll be able to do is abandon that land. So here, from a spiritual point of view, we love nature. Many, many people that I have worked with say the place they feel a connection to the divine, the only place they really feel a connection to God, is when they're out in nature. I would include myself there in my past. Nature was my connection to all that was of creation. My heart would open. I would be in bliss, watching a bird or a tree and watching energy fields arise out of there. It would knock me off my heels. I would say, oh, I know God, He is here. This is where I feel God. Even growing up in a very orthodox religious Hebrew way, I couldn't stand to be inside a building, in a temple. But if I would go up into the hills in nature, it was all there for me. The choir was singing the whole time, and I found my God there. But I have to ask people now. We take a lot from nature. Yes, nature will enliven us, will connect us, will do all that for us, but what are we giving back? What are you giving back? Oh, where are you? And is the guilt that we feel just too much of a block in our energy field to actually allow us to love in a way that we actually support the earth? Even energetically, when we go into bliss looking at a tree, there's this gorgeous tree outside this window. I wish I could show it to you. When we go into bliss looking at that tree and we see all the creatures that are living there and what a home that tree is for thousands of different types of species of all kinds, and we appreciate it, what do we give back? Do we love her enough? Do we really open our hearts to the earth? Besides asking to find God there, do we find God within ourselves in a way that we can give back? In a way that we can change our lives and our lifestyles to show love, to live up to the gift of our divinity and the love that is in us. We are at, as you know, a really crucial time on the planet. So as we drop in even a little deeper now, making outward changes and doing a lot of talk isn't really going to solve this problem. The first step is to find our heart, to go beyond the blocking energies of how guilty we feel, to be able to release the love that we need to release to activate how we're going to treat our planet. And our planet is a being. It is alive. It has a heart that pulses with the rhythm of God's heart, of the heart of creation. Our planet is a beating heart. It is. And when you get to be able to feel that, you will know that you are in perfect synchrony with this planet, which created a body for you to thrive and live and walk, run. When you see this planet as a being, this is when you are in harmony with all of creation. Feel it right now. There's nothing that you have to do except open your heart, and everything else will follow if you allow. We'll save the effects of guilt for another day. But right now, it is so exciting for me to be doing this for the first time with this amazing young woman. When I first met Marina, I had no idea who she was. She was going to help me with social media, and indeed, she is the reason that I am here doing this right now. But little did I know that Marina is also called the eco-goddess for a reason. Not just because she loves nature and loves the earth, but I accidentally ended up on her Instagram page and saw that there's over 32,000 people that follow her. She is a thought leader, an opinion leader, and she lives by her creed. The first thing I found out about her was that she had 2 years worth of whatever waste product she actually couldn't deal with or recycle. 2 years worth fit into a paper bag. I went, holy cow, this is an unusual young woman. So Marina, I would like to bring you into this. And ooh. She also has like the biggest heart I've ever seen. It just gives me the chills to be around her.
Oh my goodness, my cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
Mine do too, stop it.
Oh my gosh.
So, I forgot what I was going to say. But bringing you into this discussion, I know that you have been very active in the world of environmental activism in your very unique way.
Thank you so much.
You can go on her social media and you can actually see the train of her offerings that have been amazing and plentiful, and people getting so excited about activating themselves as environmentalists. She is a pure leader who leads through a column of love. She leads with her heart. She loves this earth so much that it could make you melt. So be prepared to melt. And I just would like to ask you, just to get started, is I know you got to a certain point and you kind of leveled off with your offerings, and here you are back.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to ask you, what is this new chapter about, and why are you feeling such impetus to activate now?
Thank you so much. Well, it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you for everyone who is joining, and I just absolutely love and adore Racquel. So this is really so much fun. And yeah, to answer the question, there really was a time. It was kind of right in the beginning of when the pandemic started, where my jaded emotions and really a jaded energy around the planet and the future of our planet was really, it was overpowering, and it weighed on my heart heavy. And I started to pull back from my social media. And as I've meditated over these months, it's just become so clear to me that love wins all, not just people, our interconnectivity, our relationships, but the planet and things that we stand for in our activism. Everything is rooted and healed with love. And so I returned to that with a force, and all thanks to Racquel. She's helped me so very much to unleash more within me, and to push back those barriers that we all face in life. We're at different parts in our journey. We'll face these barriers, these blocks, these walls, and so, looking at the time that we're in right now, where we all feel this pause. Oh, I'm not sure what happened. Our Instagram will go live again. 1 second, Facebook friends. Okay. Live. Oops. Oh no. Sorry, you guys. Okay, perfect. Live.
Here we are.
There we are. Okay. Sorry for that. Instagram shut down. So, speaking of the time that we're in, this global pandemic, where many of us are in a stay-at-home order, and many of us are working at home for extended lengths of time for the first time, it's given us a moment to look outside and to recognize the beauty that is out there, and to slow down. And I feel our fast-paced culture and society has really perpetuated this crisis that we are in, and it has led us to the mess that we are in. Because of our fast-paced culture and society and lifestyles, we are driven by convenience, and driven by these fast modalities for living, fast food, fast fashion, fast culture, and these are what is dismantling our whole world, and societies and people who are behind these ways of business too. We externalize a lot of our costs by sending them over to countries that don't have as much as us in the United States, and so there's impacts that we see on peoples and groups of peoples as well. But I found in this time that we are in especially, it's very important for us to recognize what has happened to the earth, and what continues to happen, and where we can return to love, and to having and developing a sacred relationship to the planet. So that can be the root and the starting place of our activism, and of our shift in our daily lifestyles, because it's not easy to change. We all know this from having to change for this pandemic of, oh my God, seeing no friends, no in-person meetings. Goodness, what are we going to do? So change is not easy, and moving forward to build a more sustainable, just, and thriving world, this is not going to be easy, but what a gift this time is for us to take a moment and a pause to reestablish our connection to the planet and to people, and reestablish our activism. So I really felt that pull and that call, and that's really why I returned back to social media. I view it as one of the most powerful tools of our time to communicate and to build community, to spread messages that we otherwise couldn't even 20 years ago. Yeah.
Very good. Yes. And you are a couple of generations behind me. And I'm wondering if, from your point of view, there's a question that you might have.
I do. There's one that's been really coming up for me recently, which is the topic of spirituality. What does this word mean? I've found a lot in my generation, especially the younger generations, that we have such a taste in our mouth, a bad taste in our mouth for the entity of religion, and even the word God is almost political sometimes. It's like, I'm not sure what word you use for that thing, up there. And so there's kind of this whole energy around this topic of religion, and I feel because of that taste in our mouth that's a bit stale or bad or negative, it's closed us off completely to having our own spirituality and to having our own spiritual practice and a way of connecting at a deeper level with ourselves and with our external environment. And I feel it would be so helpful to define this word of what does spirituality mean, and maybe a follow-up question would be, how can we start? How can we start our own spirituality?
Yes, and not asking an easy question.
It's a hard question.
That's the hardest question there is right now.
Yeah, it's a hard one for sure.
Well, yes, the formal religiosity in our culture and many other cultures has been breaking down, and it needs to, because we are evolving. Creation itself is evolving, and sometimes it feels like we're coming back to the future, because by back to the future, what I mean is that a spirituality that is deeply grounded in our knowing of the sacredness, as you said, of the earth itself, the sacredness of our bond
Precisely.
with our planet, is a divinity that is gifted to us by Creator, and however you want to look at Creator, however, maybe we all have different ones, maybe we all come from way different places in creation. We don't know. And it's not even important to try to analyze or discover that, but rather to accept the sacred bond that comes with our own divine knowing. And when we allow that sacredness to come out and go again beyond whatever guilt and unworthiness and wrongness, that this work is all about helping us clear so that we can find that bond and that inner knowing, we become able to receive greater intelligence in streams of consciousness, right? Just like what's coming in right now, that I feel, and everyone out there can also feel it as well if you allow yourself to be still. You can feel this generative quality of acknowledgement coming from the earth. It's like the earth is saying, oh, thank you for talking about this. Thank you so much. And yes, please, just like building out dimensions of energy to receive the love that she craves, Mama Gaia. It's like we're so busy feeling guilty about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Gaia, I love you. I love you. I love you. And feeling that is the God within us, beyond religion. And that, anybody can feel that. In fact, children feel it all the time.
Yeah.
We're born with it. And then we get so darn sophisticated and questioning and doubting that we lose it.
I love that.
I feel that your generation, I love in my throat. I feel like your generation not only is going to have to handle a lot of the mess that we have created over the years. You're going to have to get creative and find the solutions. But you also are the best equipped to do it. Because your generation is not trapped into those little prisons of belief systems. Your generation is more capable of open-ended creative thinking, because you're not being told, or you're not listening you are being told.
Yeah.
You know, you're very experiential.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't just run to get a book about something. You want to live it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
yeah,
so
that's very true.
This bodes very well for solving these challenges that we're coming up with. And who better than you, Marina, because you're so heart-oriented that you inspire people just with your smile. It's like, okay, give me the paper bag. I'll do this too.
That's so kind. Thank you so much.
What do you think the next steps are?
Great question.
You have an audience. How do we activate our heart connection with the earth?
Oh, I love this. I think it is absolutely essential daily for us to have a sacred practice and connection to the earth. And whenever I'm feeling jaded, because I mentioned that earlier in this live, there was a time, especially towards the beginning of this pandemic, I had a bunch of bad news come in, as you can imagine, with social media, bloggers and things. Lots of projects were canceled, and so this was kind of like a bunch of bad news at once. And so that, on top of everything that is going on, it really weighed on me with its emotions. And what inspired me was going outside, and even some days where I just wanted to sit on the couch and read bad news, I forced myself to go outside and just to be in awe, to feel the earth. This is so essential. It's the starting point of activism. If we truly want to fight for something, we must feel connected to it daily, and we must reconnect to it over and over again, because we're so good at forgetting. We're so good at forgetting what we love and what we live for and what we are passionate about. So to love the earth is to be with the earth and to spend time with her. Feel the breeze, go to the beach if you're near one, or even if there's a park nearby, spend time with her. That's the first step. And I have this YouTube video on my channel that talks about different tiers of activism and where you can start and where you can end up. And I think starting with yourself is essential, spending that time in nature, planning hikes, even beach cleanups, if you will. And then going to your local community and your local area. You know, we will feel disempowered oftentimes with our what's going on in the political world, especially in the United States right now, and person in charge, our president. Well, start local. Start with your local government and work on local policy change. I've been continuously inspired by just the sheer amount of my peers showing up alongside me and being able to pass full ordinances for plastic bags and utensils. This is huge, especially being a coastal community so close to the ocean. So start with oneself, then expand to your local area. And community is key. You'll find when you see a like-minded soul and you look in their eyes, you share a hug if you're like me, you like hugs, and if you don't, it's okay. But just sharing that connection.
Or an elbow.
Exactly. Sharing that space and being able to share that energy with a like-minded soul, you're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Someone else likes to recycle. You know, it's a really cool feeling. And so oneself, then local, working on your local community, businesses, politics, starting a group, a local environmental group, and then going off into the world beyond. And what do I mean by that? Well, I like to think of corporations as starting, to tackle world beyond tasks. Corporations are what unfortunately lead a lot of destruction for our planet, especially corporations that don't take into account the people they impact, that help their business run, people who are not paid fair wages, and as I mentioned, externalizing those costs, operating their businesses in third world countries that have to reap the damages that we do on the planet. And so I've done this a number of times, and I would encourage you is to start with one letter to a corporation, and better yet, start a petition and have a bunch of people sign it, send it to all of your friends, and just make some noise. We have this thing called social media where we can make an entire post about it, and maybe we only have 100 followers or less, but it has a chance of actually going viral and being spread a lot because there are like-minded souls out there that see the post and they're like, hey, I care about that. Yeah, I'm going to share that on my page. And then you see there's a ripple effect on social media. A great example is a real thought leader of our time. Her name's Leah, and her handle is Green Girl Leah. And she made this one social media post at the time. I think she had around 2,000 followers. She now has over 140,000 followers from a single post all about intersectional environmentalism. What does it look like to be an intersectional environmentalist, where we're not just fighting for the planet and doing our thing, but we're also taking into account that marginalized communities are the communities that are unfortunately the most impacted by climate change. And so she started this whole movement, and it was just one post. So never forget your power of using your voice to address big corporations like that, or to start a social media post, to start a movement. We have all those tools right in front of us. We can start today.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Yes. And let it be so. And as you're talking about marginalized communities, and I felt that as you said those words, and how really hard this time is for a lot of folks that, that this is the last thing they want to think about right now.
Absolutely.
And yet we all do have to think about it, because this is a global situation. This country is responsible for a huge amount of the climate change going on around the world. So that opens up a path of empathy, to feel empathetic towards others. This is not just about us. It's not just about our comfort zone. And it's certainly not about saying, yeah, later, when this is over, then I'll be able to have the more bandwidth to deal with this. No. It's every one of us, whether we're in these, beautiful bubbles of beach communities and suburban housing, or if we're in an inner city where we're very mixed racially and economically, wherever we are, there is a way to follow this blueprint that Marina so beautifully just laid out for us. No time like the present. So I hope that energetically that we are communicating to you that our planet is in need of some love. That our sacred relationship with our planet, it's a very, very profound and necessary thing, that we depend on the planet to sustain us, and the planet depends on us for sustaining too. So that symbiosis, that synchronicity, when that's working, it offers itself so beautifully as a gift to all of us. So I hope this is a beginning for those that have not really given this a whole lot of thought except to feel bad about it. I hope that you're inspired. And if you have been active environmentally, thank you. And may this uplift you to not get sunk into hopelessness with any of it, but to keep your heart open, trust, have belief in the goodness of those, and our ability to be inspired by your good works. Thank you, Marina.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Just love her. Okay, that's it, folks. We'll see you next Wednesday for the next Wisdom Wednesday. Bye. Bye.